Well, my first ever job where I was paid a salary would be waitressing in a Chinese restaurant whilst I was studying for my degree in the USA. After I graduated though, believe it or not, my first job was being a radio DJ for a leading radio station in Colombo back in the day. Well, there are two things that I wished people knew more about me. Firstly, I'm a complete foodie. I love to experience new cuisines and I love to cook. Something that gives me great joy is seeing close family and friends gathering around a table and enjoying a meal that I have prepared. So to give people an opportunity to try my food, I launched Supper Club in 2020. And basically, through Supper Club, what I do is I curate menus, I publish the same on my Facebook and Instagram pages, and I take orders, cook and deliver. Secondly, I love music. And aside from being a radio DJ, I love to watch music concerts and have had the pleasure of watching some very popular artists, such as the Eagles, Madonna, Adele, J-Lo, Maroon 5, Coldplay, just to name a few. The advice that I would give to my younger self would be, don't be afraid. Do not be afraid of trying something new. Do not be afraid of taking on new challenges. Don't be afraid of failing. Don't be afraid of what society will think. Do not be afraid of going against the norm and doing something unconventional. And to have more confidence in the paths that I have chosen to take and to just go for it. In my view, the glass ceiling does exist for historical, cultural, and social reasons. And this is an universal issue. Unfortunately, the age-old biases and stereotypes that we hold, the patriarchal structures that we have grown up with, affect how we operate in the workplace. We have ideas of who is suitable for leadership. We have thoughts on what roles are better suited for men and what roles are better suited for women. We place limitations on ourselves. And all of this combined is what makes up this glass ceiling. So if we want to change this, we need to recognize the biases we all hold as individuals. And as an organization, we have to be sensitive to the different challenges that women, men, people of different genders face, so that we can create an environment where the best talent succeeds, despite the various barriers that people grapple with. And when we do this, the glass ceiling will be shattered. And I am proud to say that MAS is on a path to do just that. So here are a few tips and tricks that have worked for me on what has helped me balance life and work. So the first thing that I had to admit and accept was that I was not a superwoman who could do everything by myself. And there was a time in my life that I wanted to do it all, especially after Kiara was born, and I was exhausted. I soon realized that I had to ask for help and that it was okay. So I surrounded myself with help and support and let go of the things that gave me more time to spend with my family and spend on myself. I also focused on time and the quality of time as opposed to the quantity of time. I would usually drop Kiara to school in the morning, and my drive with her was that quality time that I would spend catching up and chatting. Important dates and events would be diarized in as much as possible, and I would try my best to be there for these occasions. I try as much as possible not to open my laptop once I get home or over the weekends or holidays unless there is some absolute crisis. And last but not least, I make time for me. This would include time for exercise, time for self-grooming, time to connect with friends, watch a movie, go out, whatever it may be. My biggest joy in life is my daughter Kiara. Seeing her grow up to be this fine young lady truly makes me proud. She is my pride and joy. The over 110,000 people that work for MAS is what motivates me to do my best every day. knowing that I get a chance to unlock their potential and help them achieve their personal and professional dreams is what keeps me going. And in my role in heading HR, I get to influence the various policies and processes that do just that. My role models were definitely my parents, both my mother and my father. In my mother, I saw an example of a woman who had faced many personal challenges, had been taken down to rock bottom, but through perseverance, strength, and courage, she was able to get back on her feet, time in and time out. In my mother, I saw a child of God who clung to her spiritual beliefs and faith to get her through these tough moments. And I owe my spiritual journey to her and what she taught me. In my father, I saw an example of a man who started from the bottom and made it to the very top through sheer self-motivation, hard work, and determination. There were no handouts at all. And as I saw my dad progress, I saw excellence and professionalism in everything that he did. He also taught me how important it is to be simple, humble, and not let success get to your head. And most importantly, he also showed me how to have fun and enjoy life whilst you're going about on your journey. The biggest lesson I learned from the both of them was to always do what is right and to never ever compromise on that. The best piece of advice that has been given to me is to stay true to who you are. Do not try to be someone else, but remain authentic, where what you see is what you get. And this is something that I have always tried to do.